Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into a real head-to-head between two absolute titans of the audio world.
We're looking at Sony's WH-1000XM5, the established benchmark, against the brand new flagship, the WH-1000XM6.
Right, and Sony's legacy here is, it's immense, over 70 years in consumer electronics.
Exactly, and these two headphones really represent the pinnacle of that. The XM5 from 2022 is the proven champion. The XM6, just out this year, is, well, it's the future.
So our mission today isn't just to run down a spec sheet. We need to figure out if the advancements in the XM6 are, actually worth the extra investment for you.
That's the key. We're going to break down where the XM5 still holds up as an incredible value and where the XM6 introduces features that are, frankly, game changers for certain people.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We have to start with the main event, the reason everyone buys these headphones.
Noise cancellation.
Noise cancellation.
Wow.
And the big story is this processor jump. The XM5 has the QN1, the XM6 has the new QN3.
The HD noise canceling processor QN3, yeah.
And Sony is throwing around this number, that the QN3 is 7 times faster. That sounds a little like marketing speak to me. What does that speed actually get you?
Well, it's the difference between being reactive and being proactive. The QN1 was, and still is, amazing at handling consistent sounds. Think, the drone of a jet engine.
Right. Low constant frequencies.
Exactly. But the QN3 speed lets the XM6 make these tiny, instantaneous adjustments. It's much better with sharp, unpredictable sounds, a car horn, someone shouting next to you, that kind of thing.
So it's better at handling those sudden bursts of noise that can sometimes break through the cancellation on older models.
Precisely. The system can just detect, analyze, and counteract those sound waves in almost perfect real time. It creates a much more consistent bubble of quiet.
And that speed is backed up by more hardware, right? The XM5 had 8 microphones.
It did. 8, which was already very impressive. The XM6 bumps that number up to 12.
12 microphones. So is that just for better listening, or is it about making the system smarter?
It's mostly about the intelligence. Having those 4 extra data points gives the system so much more precision in figuring out where sound is coming from. And that feeds into the XM6's new big feature.
The adaptive NC optimizer.
Right. The XM5 had an auto NC optimizer, and it was good. It would adjust for things like air pressure on a plane.
I remember that.
But the XM6 takes it so much further. With the fast processor and all 12 mics, it's not just listening to the world outside, it's also monitoring how you're wearing the headphones.
What do you mean?
If you're wearing glasses or a hat, or even if your hair is in the way, it can detect the tiny acoustic leaks that creates.
Oh, wow.
And it adjusts the noise cancellation profile on the fly to compensate.
Yeah.
It's tailoring that quiet bubble specifically to you in that exact moment.
That is a huge deal for anyone who wears glasses. That was always a bit of an issue with the XM5. You'd had to sort of fiddle with them to get a perfect seal.
XM6 just handles it.
Okay, so let's pivot from locking the world out to how you sound in the world. Call quality. For a lot of people using these for work, this is just as important.
Absolutely. And the XM5 was competent. It had 4 beamforming microphones, some good signal processing. It worked.
You worked in a reasonably quiet home office.
Exactly. But the XM6 is designed for much more hostile environments. It uses a 6-microphone system, but the real upgrade is that it's an AI-based system.
AI-based. So what does the machine learning actually do?
It's not just trying to block ambient noise from getting into the mic. It has learned to recognize non-voice patterns like traffic, wind noise, a coffee grinder, and it actively strips those frequencies out of the signal it's sending.
So the XM5 was filtering noise, but the XM6 it's almost rebuilding your voice on the other end.
That's a great way to put it. It means you can be standing in a chaotic airport terminal, take a work call, and the person you're talking to hears crisp, clear audio. They'd have no idea where you are.
That's a massive differentiator for any kind of profession.
Clearly is.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. The actual sound, the audio engineering.
Right, for the audio files.
Exactly. The XM5 has a great sound profile. It's balanced, it's engaging. It has that 30mm dynamic driver, and you can tweak it in the app. It's a fantastic headphone for just listening to music.
It is. But the XM6 is aiming for something a little different. They actually co-created the sound profile with mastering engineers.
So they're going for a more reference quality sound.
That's the goal. More transparent, more accurate. And the hardware reflects that. They moved to a new driver with a lightweight carbon fiber dome.
Carbon fiber, that's for rigidity, right? Less distortion.
Exactly. It's incredibly stiff and light, so it reduces that harmonic distortion, especially in the higher frequencies. You get a much crisper, clearer detail.
Is there any kind of trade-off there, moving to a more specialized material?
There can be. Sometimes those kinds of drivers need a bit more power, but Sony claims they've tuned it to be just as efficient. The goal really was that pure, balanced accuracy that an engineer in a studio would demand.
And to get that level of detail to the headphones wirelessly, you need a serious pipeline.
You do. And that's where LD ASCII comes in.
We hear this metric all the time, that it transmits 3 times more data. What does that actually mean? 3 times more than what?
It's about 3 times more than conventional Bluetooth, so codecs like SBC or AAC that you find on most devices. LDS pushes so much more data through up to 990 kilobps.
So for the listener, that means if you're using a high-resolution source, like a FLAC file or a lossless streaming service?
The XM6 is actually receiving all of that extra detail. It's preserving the nuance that the artist put into the track in the studio wirelessly.
Okay, let's bring all this tech down to earth. Let's talk about actually living with these things every day. Design, portability.
And this was a major pain point for the XM5.
That was the case. It was notoriously big.
It was huge. The headphones were collapsible, but not really compact. The XM6 is a massive upgrade here. It has a true, compact, foldable design.
The ear cups actually fold inward.
They do, which makes for a much smaller footprint. The case is smaller. It has a nice magnetic closure. For anyone who travels, this is a really big quality of life improvement.
And they tweaked the comfort, too, I read.
A little bit, yeah. They went with a slightly wider asymmetrical headband. It's all about distributing the weight and pressure a bit more evenly for those really long listening sessions.
Okay, but battery life is a tie.
It's a complete tie. Both get you up to 30 hours with noise canceling on, which is just fantastic. No complaints there.
But the charging, this is where the XM6 pulls away again.
Oh, this is maybe the most practical upgrade of all. The XM5 takes about 3.5 hours for a full charge.
Which is fine overnight, but not great if you're in a hurry.
Right. The XM6, with an optional USB PD charger, it gets a full charge in just 3 minutes.
Wait, a full charge, not 3 hours of playback?
A full 0 to 100% charge in 3 minutes.
That's incredible. That completely changes the game. You could be running through an airport, so you have no battery, and by the time you've bought a coffee, you're good for a transatlantic flight.
It just eliminates battery anxiety. It's a huge win.
Right, connectivity. The XM6 moves up to Bluetooth 5.3, which is a nice little bump. Better stability.
It is, but it also leads us to what is probably the most controversial decision they made.
The headphone jack.
The headphone jack. The XM5 has one. You can plug it in, use it on a plane's entertainment system, whatever you need. The XM6...
It's gone.
It's gone. They made a definitive choice to prioritize that high-resolution wireless experience over everything else.
That's a major consideration.
Yeah.
If you rely on a wired connection for anything, the XM5 suddenly looks a lot more appealing.
It absolutely does.
And what about letting the outside world in? The ambient sound modes.
Both are smart, but again, the XM6 uses that extra processing power. The XM5 had speak-to-chat, which was cool, and adaptive sound control that learned your location.
Right, it knew if you're at the office or the gym.
The XM6 makes that whole experience more fluid. It has what they call auto-ambient sound mode. It's not just switching profiles, it's constantly listening and balancing.
So it could filter out the general hum of a cafe, but
it would intelligently boost the frequency of human speech if it hears a boarding announcement. It's real-time, intelligent transparency.
And you can see this in their marketing, too. The XM5 was for entertainment and calling. The XM6 lists, well, everything. Business, fitness, gaming, travel.
It's designed to be the one headphone for every part of your life, and the early reviews seem to back that up. The XM5 has years of proven satisfaction, but the XM6 is showing incredibly high marks right out of the gate.
So let's put it all together. The listener needs a decision matrix, especially since the XM5 is often available now at a pretty significant discount.
Okay, if you are focused on value, on getting, say, 90% of the performance for a lot less money, the XM5 is still an incredible buy.
You get world-class noise cancellation, that great battery life.
And you get the 3.5mm headphone jack. That's crucial. If your main use is just entertainment, listening to music, Occasional travel, it's probably the smarter financial choice. But
Yeah.
if your professional life depends on clarity or if you live on airplanes, the XM6 is the superior tool.
So you should choose the XM6 if you need that absolute cutting-edge NC that can handle dynamic, chaotic noise.
Yes. Or if you need that AI-powered call quality for critical business calls. Or if you're an audiophile who wants true reference quality wireless audio with LDSC.
And if that compact, foldable design and the 3-minute charging will genuinely make your travel life easier.
Exactly. It's an investment, but for that person, those features aren't just novelties, they're non-negotiable upgrades.
So it really hinges on whether you value proven excellence at a great price, or if you're willing to pay the premium for those cutting-edge advancements.
That's the perfect summary. The XM5 is the gold standard of value. The XM6 is Sony's vision for the future, and it's built for the modern, dynamic professional.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on.
The XM6 made this very deliberate choice. It removed the 3.5mm jack, while at the same time pushing LDAC high-resolution wireless audio, which, as we said, transmits 3 times more data than typical Bluetooth.
So the question is, does this decision mark a real turning point? Has wireless quality finally gotten so good that it has officially superseded the need for a physical wired connection, even for the most serious audiophiles?
Is this the moment where high fidelity is truly and finally untethered?
Something to think about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.